Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Clonestar podcast and the War Room. I am your host, Sean Ferrick, and joining me is, I don't often get to say these words, the MFA credited actor, coach, mindfulness tarot card reader. I am probably butchering this. We know them best as Ensign Esmar. Jin Maley, how are you getting on?
Wow, what a lovely introduction. I love that you threw the tarot in there. You did some little research on little old me, huh?
I mean, no matter how deep the rabbit hole it went, it's like there's still more stuff. This is so
Oh,
cool.
you're so sweet. Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm really glad we finally got to do this. I know it's been a while since
It's
you first asked me, and I was just too swamped before.
I'm so grateful. And actually, I am not surprised that you were so busy because my first question is, Jin, do you ever sleep?
Quite a lot, actually.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
Well, quite a lot when I have time. This is the weird thing about being an actor is it's like, you're busting your ass, for however long you're working on a project, and then you have nothing. And that's when I try to fill my time doing other things like acting, coaching, and tarot because I like the fast pace. I like to be busy, and it's hard when you're not working. It's like probably, one of the hardest things about acting. There's so many hard things about it, but one of the hardest things for me is what to do when you're not working. It's tough.
It's like I can only imagine. I'm not an actor. I write about Star Trek, and for some reason they pay me. It's brilliant. But it's because it's go, go, go. Every single actor, particularly in Star Trek, always has stories of, oh, your day was only 18 hours. Oh, so it was a half day then. Okay, great. And then you do that for however long. And then what do you mean have a day off? Because even physically your body takes a while to switch up after that as well.
Absolutely. And this is why I'm so into mindfulness stuff too, because I don't think it's healthy for me to require that constant pace. So I'm really trying to develop a healthier relationship with that level of activity and be like, okay, I can handle this while it's happening, but I'm going to try to stay grounded and not get too excited about being on that hamster wheel. Just try to stay a little more even keel. That's what I'm all about these days.
Absolutely. And the $1,000,000 question is, how's that going?
Perfect. I'm completely sane.
Brilliant.
Not.
Completely sane, and this industry I don't think often go hand in hand.
Oh no, I'm a complete psycho like everybody else, but I'm a psycho who's working on it,
And really, at the end of the day, isn't that all we can ask for?
Yeah, that's it. Everyone's crazy. Everyone's crazy in their own way, and I'm certainly very crazy in many ways. But hence the meditation.
100%. I love it. I love that we can have this conversation now, and I love that I know in 10 years I'm going to be watching, your season of Monster, the Jin Maley story. Sorry, no. That is, I want to be the opposite of Cassandra here. I would like that not to be a prophecy, if that's okay.
Yes, let's not manifest that.
Yeah, no. You getting your own series of a show, that I want.
Perfect. Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I suppose first question, easiest question. So Star Trek Picard season 3, have you been enjoying the feedback that is coming up from this season particularly?
Of course. I mean, the feedback's been amazing. It's been, it's so weird to shoot something for so long and not be able to tell anyone and then go to the premiere and everybody's freaking out about it. It was a really jarring transition where it was like, oh, wow, okay, this is a big deal. I mean, I knew it was a big deal, but it wasn't until the premiere that it really started to hit me what a big deal it was. And then, yeah, ever since then, everyone's been so supportive and really seems to enjoy it. And yeah, I'm really proud and grateful to have been a part of it. It's kind of I'll always look back on this as a really wonderful thing that happened to me.
I can totally understand that because I think in a way, even people who are the most diehard fans of Picard since episode 1, I don't think anyone was quite expecting season 3.
Yeah,
I think it was the nicest surprise. And again, I'm not saying that a word against seasons 1 or 2. It was just because the tone is so different.
It is very different. Yeah.
Were you find this is something I've asked a couple of people who've worked on season 3. Did you find that there was something of almost? I know you yourself were not in season 2, but of course half the cast was. Was there stories of? Hang on, what's going on? The tone is different. What's happening today? Where are we? You're on our season now.
I wasn't privy to any of those conversations. Maybe I was too wrapped up in my own neuroses about trying to like keep my cool and like be a Starfleet officer on the bridge and not freak out. So I wasn't aware of that. No. I think that, the kind of thing where you're a kid and you think that your parents have it all together, and then you grow up and you look back and you're like, oh, my parents are adults. I almost felt that way with everybody else. I was like, oh, the OG crew, they all know exactly what they're doing. I idolize them, And then when I look back on it now, I can see the cracks and be like, oh yeah, no, they were figuring it out too. And, we're also absorbed in our own bullshit. Can I curse?
Oh, as much as you like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, it's encouraged.
I interviewed with Dawn Ennis and I asked her if I could curse, and she said yes. What I always say is watch your fucking language.
Love it.
But I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
Being wrapped up, say, in your own kind of your own experiences.
Yeah, I feel like one of the features of having anxiety is it's all about you all the time, and you're always messing up, and you're afraid of what it looks like to other people. And life is just going on without you, and you're freaking out for no reason. So anyway,
like that is such an interesting point, because you're right. In any walk of life, in any role, in anything, even myself preparing for talking to you, I was like, oh, Sean, don't fuck this up, and it's like, kind
great.
of. Yes, thank you. I needed that. Was there any sort of catharsis, say, in that scene where, can I say, you deliver one of the best, like, emotional, fear-filled breakdowns, I think, of the entire franchise to date? I was there like, Amanda Plummer, you put that phaser back in your pocket. Now, then, of course, what happened. But oh my god, how was that to play?
Oh, you mean when she blasts Tavine?
Oh yeah.
It was so much fun. I mean,
sorry, what a soundbite. She blasts Tavine. It was so much fun.
Oh my god, do not quote me on that. It was horrifying. As an actor who really likes to get to, I played Cassandra, and the prophet who sees the future but nobody believes her. So it's like I really enjoy getting to, as my acting teacher in grad school said, play the full 8 octaves of what it means to be human. And you don't, in a small role like what I had in Star Trek, often get to play a really epic sort of Greek tragedy level moment. So I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go there. Let's make it really traumatic,
Nailed it.
Thank you. I have some personal experience with that. So
oh my goodness.
Not having someone killed in front of me. I mean, no, sorry. That is not what has happened to me. Thank God. But I mean, yeah, just having trauma and life experience to bring the more messed up life experience. I don't want to say that because I don't think you have to be messed up to be an actor, but it's the cool thing about acting for me is that everything I experience is just grist for the mill. And I had lots of grist for the mill for that moment.
It's like I am so sorry that you do. And yet the fact that you have been able to channel it into something so positive and so productive, it's like having a really, really, do you know what? It's like being able to tell the future and nobody can believe you.
I love that you know about that, by the way.
Oh, it's my next set of questions, because I want to ask about Sinking Ship Productions, and I want to because It looks like this has been this kind of. Am I right in saying it's It's workshopping, and is it continually workshopping? I know there was the performance in 2022, and would that be a where this is our script performance, or is it we're still ongoing?
It was commissioned by the Getty, and the first performance was there. So they sort of gave us the seed of the idea of create something based on Greek mythology. You can do whatever you want. So they were like, great, let's use this as an opportunity to work together and create a piece, and we'll figure out what it is. So thanks to them, they gave us the opportunity to do a workshop production there and just the whole idea for it, right? So we've done a couple residencies to develop it further, but it is currently, out of my hands. The producer and writer and director are kind of dealing with that now. And yeah, hopefully soon at some point we'll get to take it to the next level. We want to mount it in New York. So
That would be, I mean, yeah, I hear Ireland is good as well to do performance, just if you were thinking of going even more east.
I would love to go to Ireland. I hear it's so beautiful there. Is it amazing? Do you love it?
I do love it.
Really?
It is, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to earn my keep for the tourism board. It is amazing. It's the best country in the world. And
Really?
yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant. If you like green, it's good.
That sounds so nice.
Excellent. The process of workshopping, there might be some people who say be watching this and they'd be maybe unfamiliar with theatre and the way sometimes these devised scripts can come together. So you're an acting coach as well as an actor and all around legend. How I'm just going to slip in the compliments. Absolutely, yeah. But how do you find this process of workshopping? Do you say prefer it to being given a finished script, or would you at all times be like, please give me a script, please?
I was asked a similar question by Dawn Ennis when she interviewed me about whether I want to do theater or film or TV, what I prefer. So similar question, and I have the same answer, which is it just depends on how good I just want to be a part of good projects. Whether it's theater in development, whether it's a video game, which I'm working on right now, that is just like, yeah, I get to play a non-binary character, and just like, I'm all about doing quality projects, whatever it is. And the fun thing about doing something where I get to play the title role and am also part of the creation process, obviously that activates my creative juices in a way that Star Trek doesn't, because I am a piece of a much larger puzzle. But doing Star Trek, I mean, there's a magic about that, and I don't have as much creative control, but I felt much more swept away by this tidal wave of energy that was bigger than me. Whereas with Cassandra, it was like, I have to be part of I'm a more key part of the tidal wave, And they're just different. Because it was also kind of fun to be like, oh, I have 5 lines today. I get to chill and be on the bridge and be at my console and be acting, but it's not resting on my shoulders the way it is for Jerry.
Absolutely, as well. I know with film there is now not infinite takes, of course, because money, but it's less. Whereas in theater you have the audience there.
Yes. There's a thrill to that, and there's a full body, a total like physical, emotional, and spiritual exhaustion that I feel after a theater performance, like when I played Ariel on The Tempest also, where it just takes everything out of you in a really satisfying way. Because, when you're on set and you're there for 12 hours, you're probably not, for me at least, I wasn't acting for more than 3 hours of that time, if that. Whereas in a play, you're acting continuously for 3 hours. So different skills.
Absolutely. I remember once I did, I was joined the theatre club in college straight away. Of course, I was like, I must act. I realized
cool.
I tried. Yeah, I realized quickly, maybe I mustn't act. But I still loved the process. Like it was, because I tell you exactly what it was. It was a performance of Oedipus Rex. And I played Creon, and the director, it was a good idea in theory, but everyone's on stage for the full performance.
I hate those.
standing stock still if you're not delivering your lines. I don't think I've ever had as like iron muscles as I did during that time. But like, we didn't have a curtain, but let's say curtain would come down, I would just flop.
That is horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Where do people come up with this stuff? Why are you torturing me?
Oh, well, because in college we're all just we're geniuses, and we just don't, people don't understand our genius.
It's so true. Oh, I remember those days.
I have to ask, Harvard University, that's a bit cool.
That's a bit cool. Yeah, it was a program at Harvard. There's now some whole thing about us. It's a whole drama. If you want to look it up online, you can, about what's going on with that program. But it's really basically we got a master's from the Moscow Art Theater School. That's where the master's is from, and we get a certificate from Harvard. But now they're saying that it's a master's it's an MFA equivalent, not an actual, it's a whole thing. I don't even know. I know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I had an amazing time. I learned a ton, and it really like built my muscle of my ability to work really long hours for long periods of time without breaks, which is unfortunately a really important skill to have as an actor. And what has been harder has been the downtime, because I can grind. It's when I have nothing to do that I freak out a little bit.
Because it is. It's like we mentioned there a few minutes ago. It's that feeling. Oh, it's almost the ricochet.
Yeah.
You're going at 100, and when there's nothing, you're. It's like you're looking for. I know I've forgotten something, or
Yeah, I know what you mean. Wait, am I supposed to be somewhere right now? Am I supposed to do something? No, there's literally nothing. My brain can be blank. Oh no.
exactly.
Now I'm alone with my thoughts.
Exactly, yeah. Like, and as we said, mindfulness is incredibly important. And yet there is the honest thing is sometimes there's nothing more terrifying than the prospect of spending time alone with you. As important as it is, it can be quite frightening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why when people retire, they have a really hard time, Not having a sense of purpose, I think, is really challenging, especially for someone. I never really thought of it this way, that it's particularly challenging for actors, because if you're pursuing acting, you're obviously very purpose and meaning driven. You're not willing to just do whatever. So to not have that in the downtime, yeah. Anyway, I'm just feeling some compassion for myself and my fellow actors right now, as right now during the writer's strike, there's really, it's tough.
I when I say I understand from the point of I've been following the news, I've been following the updates. I really, really, really obviously want the best outcome for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I just because I'm just vividly remembering 2008. And I'm just like, how did we get back here again? And I know the how, but like, how did we get back here again?
Yeah, yeah. And, solidarity. Like, let's do this. Let's band together, but it is hard.
Yeah. Selfishly delighted Picard was out before this went into.
Right?
I know. Like, I don't realize that's a terrible thing to say because poor Strange New Worlds, I know, is I think on hold at the moment, and you know, but it is so important as well. I think for us as an audience to know that everyone behind the scenes now, whether as an actor or obviously as a writer, everyone is putting in crazy, crazy hours. I mean, like in your theater company, you're doing it all. It's like what else can we throw at Jin today?
I
Yeah,
know.
you deserve to be recompensed for that.
Oh, yeah, I know. I agree. Yeah, it would be nice if we were more fairly compensated. I think there's sort of an attitude, I had a friend tell me, well, if if it was easy, everyone would be an artist. And first of all, I don't agree with that because I think that it's challenging enough as it is. And battling your own demons with putting your work out there, that in itself is its own thing. And then there's building the craft. That's its own thing. So there's so many things that make it difficult. But the idea that, well, everybody wants to do it, therefore you should just accept what you get, I think is that mentality is there a little bit. It's like people think you have to be tortured to be an artist. Or when people say, we won't pay you, but you get exposure.
Oh God. Like, thanks, I'll let my landlord know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it is, and I mean, yeah, I like that. I have heard the phrase, basically, don't rock the boat because there's 10 people behind you.
Right.
That's a scary one. Now, I think, and hopefully I'm right. I think it's gotten better. I've spoken to some people who maybe were working in, say, the 80s, the 90s, and they were just like, no, that was what happening. Like, you just couldn't say anything.
Definitely. And same with me too. I mean, things really are changing. But change is slow, and that's why you got to keep pushing for it and being the squeaky wheel, because if you don't, then nobody's gonna, it's not gonna change unless people push.
That is, it's so true. And so I wanted to ask, was Esmar, were they always non-binary, or was that when you were cast in the role, or like were they specifically looking for a non-binary actor, or were they like, oh, we like Jin, Esmar's non-binary now?
I think, yeah, originally the breakdown that they put out that I got from my agents, I think it said non-binary and trans people welcome. I think they were looking for that, perhaps. So, yeah, as far as I know, they corresponded the character's identity with the actor that they cast.
Oh, I love that. I love this.
Yeah.
I think as well, because Esmar is non-binary, and it's just part of the bridge.
Yeah,
This
right?
is,
Isn't that cool?
it's like, oh my goodness, you mean non-binary people are people?
They're just here, hanging out. They exist.
Who left that door open? What?
We left that door open. How'd you get in here?
Oh no. Okay, we'll give you this one. But no, it particularly, I think, with Star Trek, which has always been so progressive, and God love it when it came to the LGBTQIA plus community. It stumbled. It stumbled along the way. And I think it did okay. But and then suddenly in the last couple of years, it's like, oh, we're here.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
So it's been lovely to see the widening of representation in a franchise that has since 1966 been about representation, and
Yeah,
but at the same time what you could kind of get away with on the networks at the time.
right.
Yeah. So, and was there much discussion on set as to, because unless there's deleted scenes, there's not much discussion of the fact that Esmar is non-binary, simply the fact that they are there. Was there much discussion about how to play the character, or how much this was part of the character's performance, I think, for want of a better word?
Yeah, there was no discussion of that. I just kind of did my own thing and got corrected if something was weird.
Okay, I love that though, because again, it just kind of goes again with, oh, okay, non-binary,
Yeah,
totally cool.
that's a great question though, because I guess what you're getting at is gender expression and performance, I
Mm.
suppose, which yeah, I don't know how consciously I factored that in. I think of like, masculine, feminine, the principles of yin and yang, of like, yin energy. I prefer using yin and yang because feminine and masculine, I think that we immediately think that feminine and masculine energies correspond to gender. Like a woman is feminine and a man is masculine. So if you just take away that wording and you think of masculinity as yang and femininity as yin, I did think about creating this balance of the emotional and the receptive part of this person, and the more intellectual, the more sort of the ability to control one's emotions in order to get a job done, which I think we associate with more masculinity. So I really wanted to weave both of those poles into the character's performance. So in that way, I did think about the non-binary thing.
Okay, that is because you can see throughout the season when things go from we're having a nice pleasure cruise to oh god, we're all going to die. You can see this continual professionalism with like it might cut to you and you might have just a concerned look or a shocked look or a everything's going to be okay look because it's all right. Daddy Riker's here. It's all right. It's all kind of where's Shaw? Right, Shaw's plastered all over the back wall. Okay, great. So, culminating in which I have to say I loved. I realize there's extenuating circumstances, but Esmar does sit in the captain's chair.
Yeah, that happened. That was a real thing that happened. Can you believe that? I can't.
I can believe it because of these just waves of jealousy just coming out of me right now. I'd love to say it's good feeling jealousy, but oh no. I just
Good to know. Good to know. Great. Thank you. I'm afraid of the evil eyes. You're just making me more afraid now. No, I'm kidding.
You have nothing to worry about. I am a kitten at best.
Yeah, but you're Irish too. I feel like you guys have all kinds of special witch skills and stuff.
Well, it's
racist?
all right. I'm just going to use my voodoo doll of the Titan. So where are you on the Titan right now? And we'll just do that. No, absolutely. It was cool again. Not again. I realize I'm gushing, but it was cool again to see, particularly in this season, the family feeling of the bridge crew. Like there was, you knew who Esmar was in episode 1, which was, I think that's a credit obviously to the writing, the directing, and the performances. So kudos.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
As a viewer, thank you for not screwing it up. Well done.
Thanks.
Cheers. I know as well, obviously, that it was filmed with lockdown restrictions were happening at the time because I love that picture that did the rounds where everyone's sitting there with the color coordinating masks. I think it's one of my favorite pictures off the set.
Oh, that's so cool. Stephanie will love that. That was Savine.
So cool. Just like everyone's in there, just like kind of oh look, again, just people on downtime.
Yeah, totally. A lot of downtime spent in those chairs.
I could well imagine. And was there actually this is gonna so because downtime in those chairs, like how much time was spent on the set, both acting and downtime? What were we talking about, like crazy hour days, or what was it really like?
I'm one of those, if you wanted to know the hours, ask Stephanie because they are on top of that shit. I don't even remember. I mean, maybe 12-hour days. I remember a lot of long days. Yes. And I remember a lot of having to be there at 5 a.m. because,
you're in prosthetics as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they were pretty long hours, but I didn't keep good track. I know that's really bad. You're supposed to keep track of your hours to make sure that you're paid properly, and that's something I never do.
Oh yeah, I was going to say no. Ooh, actually, yeah. Sorry, as your financial advisor, I should say that yes, you should be keeping track of all of your hours.
I know I should be. I'm lazy.
Well, you clearly aren't lazy.
That's true. I'm not lazy, but there's certain things I really don't like doing, and that's one of them.
Oh, I never like having to deal with money at any time. It's like, can I pay that bill? I can. Great.
Yeah, totally. I'm like that too. Yeah.
The jumping forward to, I think this is one of your most recent projects, which is The Tempest, where you played Ariel. Um, this looks like it was a batshit performance that I would have loved to have got to see. Um, how did that go? What was it like doing it immersive? Were the audience, did they become cast as well at some point? And I see as well, just in the reviews, that Ariel was also written in this performance as non-binary. How much fun was that to play? Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was great. It was so much fun. The cool thing about making it immersive and advertising it that way was that we got a really young audience, which at least in America, I don't know what it's like in Ireland. I feel like maybe it's different there, but at least for us, we don't get a lot of young people going to Shakespeare. What is it like there?
Yeah, you'd find, I think it would be more people kind of 20s and up, and even the people in their
That's
20s,
young.
and I'm massively generalizing, but the people in their 20s are tend to be people who work in and around theater, literature, work in the arts already. um but yeah, because we do, part of our assigned, we do Shakespeare as part of our core in our secondary school and high school as well. And anyone studying English, I mean, I've read Shakespeare so many times, and that's not a complaint. But yes, it is sometimes, but it's not a complaint. But,
No.
so yeah, it would be kind of, you'd start with 20s, but they would be and see, and which theatre company do you work for?
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, so you have a similar thing going on. Yeah, it's hard to get young people to come to theater and much less Shakespeare, but we got a really young audience because the immersive aspect was so appealing. Like we had craft cocktails that were made by this really amazing company that made these delicious themed cocktails. Like they had an earth monster. It was made out of, I don't know. I don't know enough about alcohol to know. All I know is they were delicious. Um, and yeah, the way that they staged it was that when you first come in, when the audience first comes into the lobby of the lobby is like the ship. So then you have actors going around and sort of welcoming people onto the ship and playing card games and teaching them how to do the sail and all this stuff, and then the tempest happens around the audience, and then the audience gets sort of ushered in to the island through this like corridor, this like watery decorated corridor, and then they come to me and there's like a little monologue welcoming them. There were games and like they had some like escape room elements which were really fun. So basically before the show there was all these immersive things, and then it transitioned. We kind of was sort of a bait and switch. We're like, oh, it's immersive, JK, sit down now and enjoy an actual Shakespeare production. So I don't know, and I think it seemed to go well. People seemed into it. It got good reviews. But I think that there was one person who did complain that they felt like it was sort of like immersive elements surrounding like a traditional Shakespeare play, which I didn't have a problem with, but I'm biased. I thought it was a good show.
I
What are
think,
you
like,
gonna do? Everyone's a critic.
I suppose that's true, and everyone will bring themselves into the performance, and maybe they once had a terrible experience at a theater. Maybe they were Lincoln, reincarnated. Who knows? Um, but it sounds like a perfect way of bringing in a younger crowd. And look, I love the older crowd. We sort of need them because they buy stuff,
Absolutely. Oh my
but
gosh, yes.
we do need the younger crowd as well because we need new viewers. You know.
Yeah, and I think especially with Shakespeare because like you said, you studied Shakespeare and you loved it, and yet also kind of put a gun in my mouth. So that might be a little too much. Was that too much that I said that? A
No, not at all. No.
little much.
No, 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 no. Really, I'm saying. So my big study was King Lear, which is an amazing story. It's an amazing play, and
Love that.
yet there's only so many times you can hear. I think it's Edmund turn around and be like, "I'm the baddie." We know. Get on with it.
Well, and that's what I was sort of getting at is like with Shakespeare especially, you really have to act it or see it acted to experience the full power of it. Just studying it in a book is like really a boring way to learn it that doesn't really do it justice.
I totally agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. And then of course you're faced with the challenge of, here's a play that's 400, 500 years old. Do it new. Okay.
No. And that's really what I did appreciate about this production is they had some people who were really skilled. There was an immersive director and there was the theater director and they worked together. But the meat and potatoes of the show, the director was very like, let's just tell the story. Like we don't have to get crazy with it. But there is this colonialist storyline in The Tempest, and seeing it through, he cast a very diverse cast and was very conscious of bringing forth the aspect of the story that Prospero and the people who come onto the island are, they're colonizing the island, where you have the natives like me and Caliban who are being encroached upon, So we told the story and told the story with a very conscious lens on, yeah. But those themes are there originally. So I think sometimes people try to reinvent the wheel for the sake of reinventing the wheel, rather than like really digging deep into the story and saying, okay, what's speaking to me that I can tease out of this?
Like there's versions and performances of Shakespeare that I have absolutely loved, which when I was 14, 15, I never thought I would say that sentence, but no, it is absolutely true. I have. And then there are times when I've seen something and I've just thought, I love Cirque du Soleil. I really like Shakespeare, but in this particular performance, this did not need to go together.
Totally.
Although that was only once, but still.
This is where the mindfulness comes in for me too, because it's like going really deep with meditation. Like that meditation is so integrated into my creative practice, and it was actually like that for the director as well. He's a big meditator. And I think that, yeah, really being present. And this is again with the pace of like being quiet, being still, and letting the piece speak to you. You're going to find a lot more interesting stuff than if you're just trying to do something wacky because you think it'll get attention,
Absolutely. I look, I have been guilty of it in the past, of trying to,
We all have.
you dress everything up because you want to grab attention. But then you're like, okay, I've got attention. Oh, whoops, I've nothing to say.
Right. The struggle's real. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah.
I wanted to ask specifically about is it mindfulness via tarot? Have I got that correct? No,
Yeah.
mindful tarot practitioner in training. I have
Oh my
to
gosh,
ask.
you're actually reading shit that I put online. This is a problem. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You know yourself. Once it's online, it's there forever. But yeah, I wanted to ask. So, both, what is the process of that, and what was your journey to this process, specifically with tarot mindfulness?
Yeah. Well, I'm in recovery, like 12-step programs for addiction, and they have this concept of the higher power. And so I'm very spiritual. That's really supported me in my life. And then I started in Buddhist recovery, and I do both of those things. So this combination of the more mystical with the very groundedness of mindfulness, that combination to me perfectly, mindful tarot is like the intersection of those two approaches. So for me, it's like, it's very important for me to feel into the mystery of life, which feels very magical. And the tarot, it's these cards, these images that are all these just archetypes of, experiences that we all go through. Like, look at this, like Nine of Swords, like who hasn't felt like just in the dark night of the soul, in their darkest hour, filled with, horrible anxiety dreams, who hasn't had an experience where they felt like they were plagued by, or they were overwhelmed by choices and options, and maybe there was some wishful thinking there, but Their eyes are bedazzled by options. All these experiences that we go through in life, the same way a character goes through in a story, all of that is in the cards. So yeah, it's just a really cool combination of the more fantastical aspect of spirituality and the groundedness of, okay, be present with my body, just breathe, don't add any nonsense onto my experience or even any stories or symbolism onto my experience. Just be with what is. And so to me, that's the combo.
That sounds amazing.
It's really cool.
It really sounds, because particularly you spoke about anxiety. I found for myself when dealing with anxiety in the past, it's trying to, okay, try and just, I can't concentrate on the world. I can only concentrate on who's in this chair right now.
Absolutely.
And building from that, I mean, that sounds amazing. I mean, whether one is spiritual or not, there's still something to take from this, in that, if it is as sometimes, I find in symbolism, I can find mundane things help.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yes. Being in the mundane of life. You mean the simplicity of the mundane?
Thank you. Yeah, as you can see, I was doing really, really, really poorly explaining that, but yes, absolutely.
Not at all.
No, because you're so right. The simplicity of, it's like, well, what can I do? What can I do? Right, my phone is access to the world, so I'm not going to touch that right now. Whereas this writing pad is access to me.
Yes, and there's something about analog products too, right? Just like being with a book and a paper and a pen.
Absolutely.
Because
Wow.
I don't know about you, but doing podcasts and stuff, you're surrounded by digital stuff constantly. Me too.
It is, yeah, and I mean, and even actually, sort of to work Star Trek into this, like, think the set that you were on, it was just like, was there anywhere you could turn and there wasn't a screen, or there wasn't, it was like, okay, I'm going to switch off for a while. Oh God.
So true. I hadn't thought of that. No, that's why in the old days, Picard was always into that analog stuff that would get produced in the whatever, right?
That makes sense. Like, kind of, oh, he's talking to screen. No, he's talking to that screen, the big green thing behind me. That's what he's talking to. So he's fine. But it is. I think it sounds fascinating. And I mean, if you're looking for a customer,
I want to get really good at it before I offer my services, but I will hit you up or you will hit me up. We'll be in touch. I'm somebody who really, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist because I think I've grown past that, but the way I feel about tarot is the way I feel about acting, in that I think that it really is a skill that you can master. And I'm training with somebody who's really, there's such not only superficial understanding, but this deep well of experience with the cards that you can tell that she brings when she's reading for you. And I just really want to be able to bring that forth for people, So I'm trying to give myself time. The go-getter in me that you were talking about earlier of being all like busy really wants to just put it out there and start reading right away. And it's like, no, just give it some time, like have my own practice with it first, so that when I do offer it to people, I know I'm offering them a really high quality experience.
And that's ultimately, that would be the most rewarding for both. Or exactly. If there's more parties as well, I'm not sure. Is tarot something that would be more than two people?
I mean, I think that something that interests me potentially is doing like classes or teaching people to have their own relationship with tarot, and then that would be a fun community thing. But yeah, for the most part, it would be one-on-one.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah. I can absolutely understand that need for, and also that dichotomy of like, right, we're going to go 100 miles an hour. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be wonderful. And then in the back or even the front of your head going like, so this doesn't work like that. Yeah.
Well, it's like exactly what you just said. Okay, let me put myself out there. Wait, I have nothing to say.
It's like,
pause.
Yo. I'd like to welcome the next speaker. This is a terrible segue. Speaking of next speaker appearances, I've just seen the other day that you have announced that you will be at Star Trek Las Vegas.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. My first convention. Yeah, I'll be there all days, three or
That
four, however
is
many days it is.
that is so cool. And is this, say, your first convention as a Trekkie, or your first convention like ever?
Ever, ever.
Oh, you're gonna have a good time.
I'm so excited. Are you going to be there by any chance?
I'm working on it.
Really?
So
Oh my gosh, yay.
I would really, really like to. It's just there's this little thing where like Las Vegas, very far away.
I
But
know.
I
So,
was at the last one, so if I can be at this
oh,
one, I
cool.
absolutely will.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, it'd be so cool to see you there. You seem so cool.
oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're just so great. I'm really enjoying this conversation.
oh, thank you so much. Oh, because this is going to sound so like kind of call and response, but I really feel the same way. Like I'm really enjoying this
Oh, thank
chat.
you.
Thank you
This
so
is,
much.
I was saying digital stuff is so blech, we want to be analog, but look at what came out of COVID in terms of connecting people all over the world. That is the one bright side of COVID, you know?
I I agree. Like if it hadn't been for COVID, and it's a crazy thing to say because I don't want to minimize in any way
Of
the effect of
course.
COVID, but it made like this is now so normal that I will
Yeah.
jump on a video call with someone and just we'll talk, we'll shoot the breeze for however long. And whereas like quite soon before COVID, it was just anathema to me. It was so strange. The idea is like, because, well, you just ring them. It's like, this is ringing them. It's like, oh, yeah.
You have the cutest mannerism with the, oh yeah. I guess that's not helpful to say on a podcast, maybe because you can't see it, but Sean's doing this thing where right?
Yeah.
He? Yeah.
Yeah.
He will just pause and tilt his head to the side and then put his forefinger on his lips. It's really cute.
I've done that before. I'm going to keep doing it, though. I'm not going to get self conscious about it because now that it makes you happy, I'm going to do it.
Oh, shoot. Yes, keep going. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Excellent. So yeah, right. I was going to do what I was going to do is I've just realized I'm doing. I'm going to keep going.
Sorry if I made you self-conscious.
No, it's good. It's good. I love whoever's going to be listening to the audio version of this. It's just going to be like, what's going on?
What is happening?
So this is what you got to watch the video version. If I can get to Vegas, I was gonna see if I could get an Esmar t-shirt. No, now I'm just gonna get myself doing this on the t-shirt.
That's what I
And I'll
would
just
do.
arrive at the desk, and you're going to be like, I thought you were joking. You are so self-centered. Oh my God.
I want a shirt. I'm ready for it.
Excellent. Cool. Note to self, make shirts. Because that is the kind of thing where, much like, and to everyone who's listening, watching along, a little behind the scenes thing, much like the I'll definitely send you that email right now message I sent you like a month ago, and then realized in a panic this afternoon that I hadn't done that. I was like, oh my God, they've totally made other plans. Oh, of
No.
course they have, because, I'm such a. Thankfully, you are so better organized than I am. Um,
Not because I didn't have the Zoom link and I didn't think anything of it. I don't know where I was going to call you.
I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
going to knock on the door. This is you. You were going to be one of my "How did you get in here?" statements.
God. No, please. No. I'm
Okay, Jin, I didn't have to be so vociferous about that. Like that's fine.
No, you would have been fine. I just had a flashback moment where somebody I always love hearing from fans, of course, and it's like such an honor to be part of the Star Trek universe and to have fans. But I did get somebody send a letter to my home address, which was a little bit like, I need a PO box, I think, because I don't like people knowing where I live.
Understandable.
It's scary a little bit, you know? Like I
I
said,
think so.
you're fine. That was not in reaction to you. That was in reaction to like my own fear.
That's and to be fair, I think that is a very, very important point to mention as well, because you are you are audience facing, and there are those of us who may feel that we know you in a way that we actually don't. There has to be a separation.
Yeah, yeah. I think that if you just switch the tables, I mean, I don't know. Maybe people would be fine with knowing where you live, but yeah, it just scared me a little bit.
That's I think that's right. Like something like a PO box, I think is an excellent
Yeah.
compromise, I suppose, for a word there,
Yeah.
because it is, it is lovely. People like to reach out because generally it's from a lovely place. It's from a place of
Oh,
admiration.
absolutely. And it
Yeah.
was from this person too, I could tell. It was I think there was nothing really to worry about. Star Trek fans are also like really the interactions I've had with them so far show me that they're very smart and chill and respectful. You know. So I think you have to be to like Star Trek.
I agree until we start discussing carpets. And then all sorts of chill just goes out the window. And it's like, I get it. The floor is shiny, but doesn't the rest of the ship look nice?
Wait, what? I'm confused. I thought you meant red carpets.
Oh no. Okay, so so really really quick. So, Star Trek of recent years, shiny floors. As you know, you were
The
there.
set carpets.
The set carpets,
I've heard about
exactly.
this. Yes.
Yes, yes. I think it is the there's a couple of the producers and production designers on the show. They're going like, the joke stopped being funny about a year and a half ago. Um, and then because the episode had been made obviously so long ago, on the Enterprise D, and there's the joke of, do you know what I missed? The carpet. I remember seeing a tweet that came out. We wrote that before this joke stopped being funny. I was just like, oh, you poor people. So sad.
That's funny. Yeah, maybe chill was the wrong word to describe Star Trek fans because y'all get intense.
We
But
do.
in person, the interactions I've had in person, everyone has been so sweet.
I
Just
think
like
actually,
people.
do you know what? I will big shout out to Trekkies for that. In person, where I think generally it's lovely,
Yeah.
generally speaking. Online can be a strange environment anyway, but yeah, I think in person, like, to go back, Star Trek Las Vegas is going to be lovely because it's going to be a big, massive group of Trekkies. There's going to be costumes you never even knew could be costumes. Um, I saw somebody walking around as the whale probe from Star Trek. They were just a big, long cylinder on their head. It was amazing,
That's
you
awesome.
know. Just the creativity that goes into these things is going to be incredible. So, I I know you will have an amazing time.
I can't wait.
And when I inevitably turn up in my t-shirt with my face on it, I will try and approach respectfully, as opposed to kind of popping up beside you, just as you're walking down a corridor or something, like, hi Jin, how are you?
You
Please,
can pop up beside me anytime.
are you sure? Because I was going to say, if I do that, feel free to mace me.
We have an established rapport now, so it's safe.
Excellent, cool. You are going to regret that. No, we're coming up to the end of the spot. I just want to say you've been so generous with your time, and this has been so fun and breezy and
So
easy.
fun.
And thank you so much.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh, thank you. Yeah.
Not at all. I have the simplest question in the world. We ask it of all of our guests, something that requires no thought whatsoever.
Okay.
Jin Maley, what does Star Trek mean to you?
I thought you said this was going to require no thought whatsoever.
I know I'm the worst.
You're the worst. This is a huge, epic question. Let me ask me again, and I'm going to practice mindfulness and see what arises. Hand on
Okay,
my hand on my belly.
Jin Maley,
Okay.
what does Star Trek mean to you?
Home. Imagining a world where anything is possible makes me feel like I'm home and there's a place for me, I guess. That's what just came out of my mouth.
That is just that is beautiful. Thank
As
you.
somebody who's, non-binary and biracial, it's like feeling like I belong in the world has been sometimes a challenge, but being in a universe where I belong is really a beautiful thing.
That is, I'm actually getting a little bit emotional.
Me too.
Oh, that is beautiful. And to know that this thing that is so special in all of our lives has helped you feel that way, that as well is a wonderful feeling.
Yeah, it really is. Great question. I'm
Thank
not
you.
mad at you anymore for asking it.
That's so anyway, right. um okay, this was an absolute loving, and I am so happy that we got to talk.
Yeah.
I am certain we will get to talk again in the future.
Yes.
And then, although you have very kindly given me the permission to pop up beside you at any point, I will give you a little bit of a heads up if that's ever going to happen.
Perfect.
So before I leave you go, what is next for you, and where can people find you? Online, as opposed to the conversation we just had.
Yeah. What's next for me is lots of acting coaching. You can follow, I post something every day on my Instagram, tarot with Jin underscore. If you want to follow me over there, I post a little tarot, I don't know, reflection daily. And eventually I'll be offering readings. So I'll let you know when that happens.
Please do, and I will make sure to. Well, if I'm not, I'm following your main account. Do you have two accounts?
Yeah, if you go to my main account, you'll see the link to the tarot account.
Perfect.
So the
That
main account is Jin Maley on Instagram.
excellent. That is cool. So by the time this episode airs, people will be like, "But Sean, you do follow that account." I know, because I followed it right now. But Jin, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure. And yes, I can't wait until we're sitting at the premiere of Star Trek Legacy together.
Ah, can't wait for that. Maybe in 10 years.
That's that. Listen, I've got no plans in 10 years.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Pleasure. Everyone who's been listening and watching along, thank you so much as always. Thank you for your support. We will, of course, be back again next week with another episode of The War Room. You are all wonderful. Make sure that you live long and prosper. Thanks.